Hey, you guys, this is George from Dave Leap's site. Big George '09 is my screen name. I've had some decent success in the past. This site's very reputable. As you can see, I've had pretty good numbers throughout. This is my final prediction, and I believe that Trump will win in a near landslide, defying pollsters around the country. Now, the objective of this poll was to be as objective as possible and analytical. When I took a look at the numbers specifically, so this map breaks down the states are won and also by the percentages. Essentially, my final prediction shows that there was a poll that came out that showed that 10.1% approximately of Trump supporters lie in polls about their support for Trump, and 5.1% of Biden supporters lie about their support for Biden. That equals out to a net 10% bump approximately to Trump in polls. Now, what I do here is I allocate some of the states such as Wisconsin, Michigan, Minnesota that had a significant polling error last election with a full 10% bump. But some states like Nevada, also California, for example, those states did not have the same kind of polling error. So what I did there was I did not add that same kind of 10% bump to it. So the 10% was a ceiling and everything else was a little bit less. I believe that in this election, due to just qualitative factors, people are very hesitant to share their opinions about who they're voting for. So this will be an election with a larger skew from polling average. Now, my final breakdown, I do have a sheet over here. But essentially, the election, I believe the national election will be almost a toss-up. Honestly, there is a way for Trump to get about a 1% margin, but he might lose about 1%. I think that he'll come within 2% in Michigan, Wisconsin. Minnesota's going to be a really close one. That and New Hampshire, honestly, New Hampshire, maybe just a squeak over. About 0.4% is what I'm having for New Hampshire. About 1% out there in Minnesota, maybe a little bit less. Nevada's also a close one as well. Biggest state victories for Trump will be Wyoming and West Virginia. West Virginia is being hit hard by advertising from Ohio and Pennsylvania, also sensitive to fracking in the coal industry. I think that will tip it over 70%. Wyoming, also a fracking state that was also very strongly supporting Trump. Now, California, I believe, will probably get close to 60% again in this election. That'll be one of the most liberal states. I believe Massachusetts and Vermont should round it out. But yeah, 326 Republican. I think we might actually know by tomorrow night, election day, who actually has won the election. But yeah, mostly Minnesota, that's going to be way too close to call. I think Pennsylvania actually has a chance to be in +5. Michigan might be about +2 and +2 for Wisconsin. So we might be able to determine who the winner is if this is the course of events that do happen. I know this is a little bit shocking in terms of the polls, but what I'm trying to do here is strive for accuracy. And this is also being mirrored a little bit by the Trafalgar Group and also Insider Advantage. I hope I'm articulating their name correctly. But essentially, they've been able to see that there is a large discrepancy between what traditional polling is doing. Maybe there's a little bit underreporting in the demographics. But all things standing equal, I believe this is approximately what I believe is going to happen in terms of final election results. Obviously, there's a chance that there's a Biden blowout. But I also think that there's some opportunities here for Trump to expand. Let's say that there was an even bigger margin of victory. I think the next logical states here in my model, I have Virginia, surprisingly for a lot of folks here, about a 1 to 3 point race for Biden. I have New Mexico over here, about a 1.5%. This is going to be very surprising, tilt to Biden. So that could actually be a very surprising win for Trump. I know a lot of people aren't even talking about that, but maybe Kevin McCullough, I did see something about that, New Mexico being really close. Colorado also being pretty close. I think a lot of people don't know, but Colorado has a lot of fracking jobs. So Colorado might be a very surprising twist in there as well, but I think they should retain their Democratic leans. But in a Trump landslide win, you could X out New Mexico, X out Colorado, X out Virginia, Surprisingly, I actually have Illinois within 10 points of Trump, about 8 points for Trump. So that's going to be a very interesting play there. I don't really see anything outside of Maine additionally. So I think about 355 would be the absolute maximum. Obviously, Biden has a chance to run up the table if he wins Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Georgia, Florida, Texas, Arizona, Nevada. I think the one state that would be surprising that he could actually pull out of this would be a Georgia before Florida. I think that would be actually one of the most interesting races out there. Would be that. But anyways, once again, this is my final prediction election map. Trying to get this done on the 2nd of November, just in case, so I'm not making this up. I feel pretty confident it's going to be a 326 split. All right, guys, have a safe election day. Make sure to go out and vote for your preference of candidate, and signing off.